Hello everyone, actually over here, and today we are showing you the update to the build that we are doing this league. As you know, it's Lesser Mirage again, and we have powerful new items and things that we can use on this league to do crazy amounts of damage. Of course, as you know, I already did the kind of one that is the beginner one. This one will be tailored to mid-core pushing. What do we mean? With this build, you are expected to get at least to kill Aberroth a lot hard. You can also kill the bosses quite easily. The gear that I have is quite good for that, but literally, I finished doing Aberroth like 1 or 2 hours in game. Let's say because I actually did almost it last week, but I can only play on weekends right now, so kind of that's what's happening. I have some background gameplay and I'm going to show you some fast clips. Of course, I'm going to explain the combo fast after those clips, but just so you know how powerful the build can be. So this is just some random echo clearing. As you know, it's only 300, so nothing crazy. But let's go into the fast ones. This is a 300 corruption boss. Just after we did the super changes, and as you know, smoke, synchronous strike, then we throw our Bladestorm to get all of our debuffs, and then shift and Letter Mage. You can see it's very easy to kill those bosses. Now this is tier 4 Julra. Because I wanted to get my Foots of the Mountain in. So you can see it's also very fast. And now this is also Aberroth. This is not my first kill. The first kill was a little bit longer because I didn't have my neck, that I'm going to explain something about that neck a little bit. As you can see, we always do the combo. Here I get hit by the beam, so I get stacks of frailty. But as you can see, the build has a lot of potential to destroy the mobs. Now, let's go into the build itself. It's level, and you can see level 93. I'm using an Exulis right now, but I actually don't recommend it until you get a little bit more gear. I have been dying quite a bit because of it. So what I was using mostly is this neck, just a neck with the base of the +1 skills, and also with +1 skills, also with Solar Elemental and Lightning. This gives me a ton of mana regeneration thanks to Ursul Sprite, but do remember that we are going to be using an Exalted chest with +1 shadows eventually. It's just that right now I still haven't found the Echo to add the set items, so we are having that problem. Now, that set, if you don't know what it does, it's this set, the one for rogues. I had one chest, but I think I lost it. Well, basically you get +1 shadows on the chest, some shadow recover on the relic, and some also cool shadow things on the helmet. This helmet I used slammed some redemptions, and I got that with health. Nothing crazy. And of course we are using the Black Blade of Chaos. I do recommend that the stats that you look for are at least 12 to 11% of cooldown recovery on some rage, dexterity of course as high as possible, and then penetration and melee lightning damage added. And if possible, also you can get a little bit plus melee void damage. Ideally, you also get the 2 penetration at 4% because we actually do a little bit of decent void damage because of that extra added. So it's never bad to have also that penetration there. Now, as you know, this makes it so when we hit with any of our hits from Lethal Mirage or from the Blade Storms, this is why we are playing that specialization, you get cooldown reduction. Sometimes you kill the mobs too fast, or you don't get them well, and your lesser mirage has a long cooldown, so that's why you slam the blade storms, and those will help. Now, the build itself does the flow combo, and that gives us to go to our passives. We are going to have these kind of passives. I used to use Lethal Cadence, but it's very annoying to use with this version of the build. You can still build into it. If you want to know how it works, you do 3 attacks, but the problem is that a smoke bomb and synchronized strikes are also things that makes it so you get 1 stack, and also of course Bladedancer. If you want to use the talent, do remember that you need to begin bosses with 2 stacks. So when you do synchronized and then smoke, you get from 2 to 0, and then from 1, and then Bladestorm you get 2, and then shift Lesser Mirage and you get the 3. This is up to 100% increased damage, but we have a lot of increased damage and other things, so other points are better. Dexterity, health, no brainer. We are not going to do a wheel, so we don't care about this. You can put more points in Guile if you need some poison resistance, but we won't need it because we already got it somewhere else. This is very good. Less damage taken while moving. And then haste on hit and increased damage per move speed. You get 1 on sapping strikes, not because it works, but because you want to get coated blades. As I said before on the beginning video, and also I'm going to say it on this one, you can use less points in coated blades until you feel comfortable, because you will need mana regeneration in a lot of items, and it's not your first slam, so it will be a 2 LP slam thing or a corruption that will give you extra mana regeneration and help you. That's also because I'm using the chest. If I don't have the chest, I only have 12 or 11 regeneration, because I only have regeneration on my belt and my ring. So no 100% need 8 points, but I do this because I want the full combo. And dodge and parry, super strong, 15% glancing. You want that. Now here you get of course the 3 flow points. Remember, now it's not more damage per point, but just the 3 where you get the more damage when consuming it. So you only put 3. Then press it, same thing, some damage, and you also get move speed. That's also extra damage. Dexterity and glancing blow, and this is so good, we get the extra physical resistance, helping a lot. With this and the blessing, we already cap physical resistance. Resilience, you get some crit avoidance and some health, and then just some random dodge routes that you get sometimes. You can also take this point off if you don't really need it, because let's be honest, 6% is not that much. You can put this point in one of these. Then apostasy. Right now I'm not running dodge. If you have a lot more gear and a lot more dodge, you can run dodge and also glancing blow, using also the chest that gives you extra glancing blow. So you have a lot of glancing blow, dodge, and also guile. I'm going to explain what guile is a little bit later, but also grit, super good, all resistances, and the extra endurance, making it that you have 30, then this extra 10%, so you can begin at 30 instead of 0, sorry. And then with the blessing you also cap endurance at 60. We don't really need leech because Lesser Mirage already has leech by itself, but while you are leveling, or if you see that you need a little bit more leech, you can put it over here. As a pack, super good. We might max this instead of the Veil of the Night, and it's up to 30% increased damage, tripled at full health. That's why we don't really want to be low health, making it so you have a lot of damage and also some dodge rating. I don't have perfection maxed because we don't really ever get to 10 stacks unless you are super good or you want to use different combos on the same mob. You will likely only use 3 or 4 points on this. You do want 4 points on confidence though, because this means that you get 2 stacks per attack instead of 1. You also get some increased damage, some armor, and some dodge. Never bad. Of course, we are completely ignoring Deadly Mixture and also Cloaked Reaper. But if you think that you need a little bit more survivability, you can get 3 points here in Cloaked Reaper, making it so you get a silver shroud every 15 seconds if you go below 70%. Silver shroud makes it so one attack misses you 100% of the time, and you also get some health gain on it. We don't really need to get the 3 points to get the critical avoidance, but if you want, you put it. That is mainly because we blind, and remember, blind enemies can't have crit, or if they crit, they have 0 chance to do it. Then hook blades, I have 1 point in hook blades because with these and my gloves, I have quite a bit of shred. We also get shred from our blades from Bladestorm, and also from the smoke bomb. So we have a very healthy number of shred, and eventually we will get also 1 or 2 idols that increase our shred effect to cap the shred value. The Thor, as you know, 24% less damage at low health. This is very, very good. And if you proc it, you also get some critical multiplier, but the idea is not to proc it because it's likely that you will die. Now, Mastered Form, this is a new one. So, you know, we have 10 dexterity, and also we unlock all of the things. With we get some extra glancing blow, attack speed, it's never banned, and move speed. Shadow Master, very important to get 3 points here. This makes it so we have 1 extra shadow, and then super critical strike multiplier. Now, right now, I have 5 points in focus fire. We get a little bit of haste after evading, and also, of course, dexterity and concentration. Eventually, we also might get, instead of that, we get raptor wings and then some hunt, agile hunt. Or if you want to be more defensive, you can go into 1 point of wilderness and then get Outlander's tenacity. You think that you need that extra oomph. Of course, if you really want to get super defensive, you can get into reflection, makes it so you are very less likely to get one shot because that is 10 extra % damage reduction. But I think, to be honest, that Outlander's tenacity is better, mainly because it also syncs well with our foot of the mountain. Now, for the uniques that you will be using in the build, in the end, there are actually not that many. You want to have a set helmet, or want to use helmet that gives dexterity if it's a unique, and then a slam extra dexterity, and if possible defensive stats that you will need. You can also get the strong stat of the getting ward per shadow. That's actually kind of good. You have, for example, level 7 dexterity, and then some ward at level, even at level 5, it's quite noticeable. Our chest is going to be a chest with the +2 mirages, and also the +1 shadow. Then you are going to go, you have seen some guides from people, but I'm also going to explain it. You basically try to get a chest with the tier 6 or 7. This is good, all the lesser mirage thing. You don't really need tier 7 for it to have the +2 mirages. You just get more mana efficiency. As you can see, even here the roll is super bad, it's only 48. And you can get that level 6 of the lesser mirage, and then like a level 7 or 6 defensive, like health or percentage health. Very good to have on the suffixes. And you will have only 1 prefix, then you craft this set icon that is +1 shadows. You pray that it's only level 1, but I think it used to be level 1 if you craft it. And then you seal it with a glyph of despair, and then you craft what you want. Afterwards, you will of course corrupt it and see what happens. Now, our rings, Jewel Rush is never bad. You use a slam dexterity on it, and it's going to be very strong. But you can also use exalted rings. And I'm using this ring because it helps me solve a lot of my defensive problems. I used to need physical resistance, but I don't right now. So I may change it with a ring that has some extra health, something like that. You can also use the Nomad ring for a while. The end game is going to be or one or two a 2 LP jewelry ring with a good corruption, because remember it will also get duplicated, triplicated, sorry. You get a huge like all stats or extra dexterity or even the lightning damage, corruption of strong things will be one thing. And then there's the other ring, the ring from the boss that you can corrupt a lot of the times. The super high roll is going to be dexterity, the dexterity corruption or all stats and all stats, and also if possible trying to get mana regen or lightning damage. It's going to be super hard to get a good one of those, so that's kind of one of the super end games. Then on the belt, try to get one with extra health, mana regeneration. We don't really need cooldown reduction, but if you get some, it's not bad. You can go for double health, like the hybrid, and then the percentage one. Get even more health. I'm using right now Feather Silk one. But eventually, you do want to use the Queen Chaps because they give plus 10 dexterity. And then for gloves, you want to have the tier 8 affix on this. How do we get these kind of gloves? These kind of gloves, you get them on the Echo, where there's a lot of beasts that spawn, and you get them with tier 8 affixes. Eventually, you will drop one that has 8 tier 8 of the affix that gives you plus 2 shadows. That's going to be, let's say, our primordial item. And with this, the other things can be whatever. Right now, what I did was I had one that had a tier 6 mod, and then I just havoced it until I got dexterity, and I left some forging potential because I want to use the dupe rune. I think I have 0 right now. Oh no, I actually have 2 creation runes. Well, we'll creation rune this and then corrupt it. Armor shred is also very good to have, to get it at good rate, and physical resistance, but also a mode that was random. I don't really need physical resistance, as you know. With the mastery and the blessing, we have enough. For relic, a +4 to lethal mirage is super good. And then I have one affix free to get the set item. Ideally, you can do the thing about crafting the set item, then sealing, and then crafting dexterity, but I can't do that here because I got the minion damage. So what I'm likely going to do is or ignore the set bonus and craft dexterity, depending on how it goes, and corrupt it. And then this is actually one of the only uniques that we might use apart from our neck. Foot of the mountain. You will go through a lot of this. It's very hard to get a 2 or 3 LP, so just don't try to do that. Get the tier 7 dexterity and slam it on a 12 to all attributes. I don't really care about the endurance roll because you can just cap endurance by using the blessing. But if you can cap endurance with the max roll on this, as you can see here, I can't really cap it. But if you can cap endurance with this, and then you can use the other blessing to get extra armor or dodge or whatever you need. Now the neck. This is an Exulis. This neck completely nukes your defenses, but it also helps you quite a bit on doing more damage, and that's what we love, more damage. It has a lot of mods. Let me explain first what brutality does, that you can see here, +5 strength and 100 extern converted to brutality. Brutality gives us more damage per mana spent, up to 20 mana. This does not mean that the stat itself caps, but that you can only get up to 20 mana effect. We are always going to get the 20 mana on our lethal mirage. So we're going to have a lot of extra damage there. The downside, of course, is that you will get less leech with your attacks. Of course, we don't really care about this because we do damage. We do hits of like 300,000 or like 500,000, 700,000. and we have a lot of leech from the skill itself, so we are going to cap our health super easy. But we also nuke our armor. You do need to get some percentage armor, like extra armor, maybe from the blessing that I said before that you can get that, or from some idols, or from your items. Percentage armor, it's not going to be flat armor, because if you get flat armor you are just going to go more into the negatives. And because we are stuck in dexterity, that's what happens with Guile. Guile gives us cooldown recovery for movement skills. As you can see, this is why my shift is 2.3. Of course, if you make a small bump movement skill, it also gets quite a bit of cooldown reduction, and it's kind of cool. But remember, if it's a traversal one, it will share with shift. Now, one thing that you can do maybe is you can stack dexterity without the Black Blade of Chaos, and you get a lot of extra cooldown reduction on the Black Blade of Chaos. Or maybe they change. Oh no, here it is. See, as you can see, now it's a movement skill, so it gets a lot of cooldown reduction from our Guile. That's maybe a cool way to do the full grid shards version, maybe in another day. And that is almost everything on our gear itself. Of course, you can use instead of Guile, if you see that your armor is getting nuked too much, and it's only really 6 dexterity, and the bonus is nothing crazy. It's 1% to take 0 damage per 10 Guile. So if you have like 200 Guile, you have 20% damage to not take damage. That comboed with the cool relic from Rogue, that also gives you some percentage to not get hit, and also dodge would be fine, but we are really only at the mercy of one shots. So maybe you just change that to apathy, and apathy will give you some cool bonuses, and also less necrotic void and poison damage taken. I also don't recommend madness, because madness makes you take more crit damage. So really you want brutality and then one of the others to get that. Of course, rampancy or the one that changes intellect is also not the best one, because you do want the ward retention. We're going to be getting some ward, like nothing crazy, but getting to like 1k or 2k ward is not going to be such an issue with that. Now for the altar itself, I'm going to be honest, I still don't really know which one is the best. Maybe you can go super defensive with the items that I'm doing right now, that increase health, and then you get ward when you create a shadow. Or very likely that you use the ones that are double health on the Weaver idols that are like this. Or just get 2 of the ones that we were using the last season, that give critical multiplier or armor shred effect. For I think this is a mechanic that we might explore the whole league and see what is the best one. And of course, if you have the percentage health on huge idols, it's also going to help quite a bit. Sadly, most setups only let you put like 2 or 3 huge idols, so who knows. Like for example, on this one you can only put 2 huge ones. It will be or these 2 or these 2. There is no place to get more huge idols. And now lastly, we're going to go into the blessings. The blessing that I have right now is this one is for shred, lightning shred. The only way to get lightning shred for us, apart from traps, but we don't really play those. This one is going to be the endurance one, that I think it's hidden somewhere. No, it's this one. Yeah, and I think it's one of these that gives endurance, and that lets you cap endurance even with a low roll on the boots, helping you quite a bit. If you think that with a big roll on the boots you can forego this, get the percentage armor, actually the flat one, because that will make it so you don't die as much. All resistances, I don't really think there is a better one over here. Maybe you can get the one that makes you not take critical damage. Very good. And the other ones I think are whatever, apart from, of course, void resistance and physical resistance. If you also have a lot of void void things, you can get the flat dodge or the void shred, or maybe the critical strike multiplier or the extra health, whatever you want on there. And the physical resistance is just that because the other one are very like whatever. Like none of these are very good. So you get the physical resistance, and with that and the mastery, you already cap. And now that's everything for now. This is the update of the build itself. Now for the skills, nothing has changed since the last video. You have the blade storms that give you a cost. Then they move faster from the steady. They super zoom. We throw 2 of them instead of 1. A little bit less mana cost. Shred. And then I have some extra bleed because remember from the Sundering Blows. And we also get some extra Shadow Daggers. Maybe you can get even more mana cost from here to help a little bit. Then there's a mirage, as you know, you get the shadows, you get the Umbral Feast and Shadow Eater. That is the best part. As I said before, we have a lot of leech from the Ravaging Mirage, so we don't really care about the downside from brutality. Extra, of course, you get the Sundering Blows for 60% more damage. And then penetration and shocking grasp. Shocking grasp makes, of course, all of our build go to shock chance. That with the Blade of Chaos, you should be able to cap shock chance super easily. Now, on synchronized strike, as you can see here, it is for the execute to get more bleed chance and also to get the 2 shadows. We always crit thanks to shift, and we also have here 20 and 30% more damage. We also leave a shadow, that's kind of cool, and the extra mana. When you have the set, because you leave 3 shadows and you don't really care about the these points, what you can do is you can get a little bit less points on here, and you get the cleanse of all islands. Helps quite a bit on actually Aberroth. All of the other ones are whatever. Maybe you can even get the invulnerability while shifting. This helps you avoid some one-shots. Of course, efficiency and extra mana is never bad. And for Smoke Bomb, you want it to last as long as possible. Give you the Smoke Blades. This, remember, is plus 100 in the damage. Huge. Strength. Extra shadows. Super good. Silver Shroud. Super good. Also, remember, you dodge your next attack. The points only increase the extra ward. And then for things like Aberroth, you do want to cleanse elements with the shroud, so you just take some points from here and there. Slow, our only way to get slow, kind of. And then some armor shred, and also more slows and more armor shred. You can see a combo of like 3 and 1 or 3 and 2. You get extra points on Smoke Bomb, and that's everything for real this time. Only last thing is, if you don't really want to use Exodus because it does nuke your defense, remember that you can always use Nihilus. Just get one with 1 LP, slam multiplier, and then corrupt it until you get the maximum good things, and that will have you have a lot of armor, resistances. We don't really care about losing health, but it's a very strong one. Omnis is a little bit weaker because we don't really have problems tapping anything, but that's also a thing that you can do. Also, just get an Exalted with a critical multiplier, mana regen, health and more health, and things like that, or like damage, and just enjoy with the +1 skills. These ones are going to be very hard to have because mainly they always go corrupted. So I'm not going to make you waste more time. Have a nice day, and I'll see you on the next video.